pages online. This is a special edition called Tuesday's Tips. Every Tuesday we're going to post a new tip on how to use our special sponge painting system. These are designed specifically to give you additional information as you continue your growth in our program. Let's get a start and take a look at today's tip. This is Tuesday's tip today to talk with you about stencils. There are many of our paintings that do not require any stencils at all. However, there are many other paintings that are wonderful in our program that can expand your provision of doing different kinds of things with the stencils that are customized specifically for Art for All Ages programs. Today we're looking specifically at just this stencil here, which is stencil number 10 for the birds. It is one of the many stencils that are part of our program, and they are utilized specifically with our sponge. We absolutely never utilize a brush to paint with our stencils. In fact, I'll demonstrate to you an example of painting with our stencils and with the brush. This is what most people might think of doing. It is going to be a disaster. And there you can see it. You kind of get it to look right, but you have some bleeding and some other things going on there. We'll go ahead and clean that off. The proper use of our stencils is with a sponge, and there are several rules. Rule number 1, you want to squeeze your sponge tight to make sure that it is dry as a bone. Rule number 2, when you mix up your paint, see how wet this is? We don't really want the paint wet like that. We're going to add some more paint to make it on the drier side, make it nice and dark. Rule number 3, when you're utilizing our stencils, is to pat softly. We'll go ahead and put the sponge into the color, and we'll come over to the bird here, and we will just pat softly. Now what tends to happen as we're patting onto the painting is that the paint tends to get a little wet and we get discouraged because it's not very dark. You might give it a few seconds to dry before you go patting again. If you pat too hard, you'll actually lift the paint, and you also may have an opportunity to bleed underneath the stencil, which would not look good and defeat the purpose. We'll get a whole little bit of paint there, but watch what else we're going to do. We're going to take the sponge, bang, right into the color there, and very softly pat that now. And you can see with a little bit of a scrub and a little bit of a pat, still being soft, we can fill this in nicely. And you'll also notice that by putting the sponge directly into the dark paint, you can get yourself a much darker feel for what's going on inside the stencil. And once you have the whole area nice and covered in, very carefully remove the stencil, and voila, you have the bird with no bleeding. This is Tuesday's tip for the day today, how to use our stencils. We hope that you have enjoyed this little video and that this tip was helpful for you. For more of Tuesday's tips, check out our website under the free classes for Tuesday's tips. If you want, also check out the full video, which is all about learning how to paint with our sponge system, which is the free video on our website, The #1 Painting. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.